see the Nico and the Jace from Top Esports on that red side.
The Bard ban. Interesting here from BLG. I've seen some of the LPL Bards start to find a success. Vampire comes to mind for me.
Too.
Well, that makes sense. BLG have done their homework here. Banning away the Bard from Fengyue. The Embessa, I mean, Renekton's gone here, so the Embessa ban makes sense. Zehen's still available. Oh, yeah, of course. Varus first pick, that's something that you can give resources to Viper on.
And he's been really willing to go with these kind of poke carries for the most part. Being able to find that kind of avenue is going to be really big, but Top Esports say we're going straight for team fighting. They get the Sivir, the movement speed, and the Pantheon that NaiYou really loves to go with.
The Sivir has been the go-to answer into the Varus for a while now, but I don't know how I feel. It's great wave clear, and yes, you do have Spell Shield for the majority of Varus's poke, but if you're ever given an on-hit Varus game, on-hit Varus is great. And if there is tools on BLG to break Spell Shield, or that like Spell Shield being broken, like a Nocturne, then you can easily break the Spell Shield with Varus, with the Nocturne, with something like a Rakan, and the Sivir is just as vulnerable because she's so immobile, she's so short-ranged. You need a solid support like Karma, that's really tough. Renata's gone, Poppy's gone. The Rakan is such a great pick here from On.
And I think it's also one of his best performing champions of like all time, at least on the Rift. I don't know if the stats back that up, but Creme will also get one of his best performing picks of all time. What he made his name on coming up on that OMG squad, it's his Akali.
I don't know. I think Top Esports found so much success when the draft was simple. And this is not a simple draft. It's not easy to play. No, it's not easy to execute. You know, Pantheon, Akali, it's a lot of 2v2 melee damage. Yes, Sivir's great scaling. These are not bad champions at all. The Akali blind is a bit scary, but I don't really see the synergy so far, you know? Lock down one, like, try to burst through one target. Maybe there's not a ton of tank on BLG at the moment, so I can see that, but I'm worried for Top Esports. BLG have a much more easy to execute draft. They've got a global, they've got engaged support, they have one of the best ADCs on the patch. They're going to get, you know, a blind pick top, most likely. Top Esports do have counter picks, so if you want to leave open support for that, support, you can see support, so maybe it's a top lane counter pick. I think Top Esports have backed themselves into a corner here with their early Sivir, the Akali as well. I'm not sure.
I do really like the Galio ban, though, trying to take away some of those connective pieces. And there you go. It's going to be the Wukong locked in. So
support.
Pantheon could be going support now to give that aggression to the bot lane.
Yeah, that's a hard matchup. Like, you're outranged. I don't know if you win the 1v1. Like, Pantheon is going to just take arrow after arrow to the face and take so much damage. TES have no range at all. Full engage. The double global is very scary. I like the Cassante. I think it's a great blind pick here for top. Probably the best one still left open. What have we got? The Aurora's banned. Twisted Fate is genuinely option. I think Syndra would be really good for Knight here. The Victor as well. More range. That makes sense too. I think Top Esports have they've so much engage, a lot of fight potential, sure, and that does suit their aggressive nature, but it's a really hard game to play.
But I gotta ask, and while we wait for the last pick, why Nocturne? In all accounts, it feels like it does not fit, and we'll get back to that point after I mention this. This is 369's Aatrox, something he used to pull out all the time, coming through in this game number 3 as well. But returning to that point, what does the Nocturne do to connect these pieces here?
I think your options here for AD jungle are Wukong, which is great, and that's an option, but where else do you go? In this game, you've got no Xin Zhao, Qiyana, no Jarvan, no Vi. You can't go on Bessa, there's no Jace, there's no Malphite. You're really running out of options for good AD junglers left open without going something really crazy. Skarner, maybe, you know? So I think that the idea is we want something that's going to be an AD bruiser that we can fight with. And the globals have found success in this series, Mazel. The Nocturne, while it doesn't have synergy necessarily with like a follow-up damage, it's going to allow Xun to be impactful in the fights. It'll match the Pantheon as well.
Yeah.
So you can impact the bot lane with Viper. You can impact Knight in the mid lane. For top esports, they have to fight. They have no range, full engage. Bilibili have so much range. I think that if top esports can close the gap, they can do it, but BLG have so many tools to stop that happening.
They do indeed, and now the tools are needed to make something happen. BLG with a win here, secure top 4, goes straight into the playoffs in this split one. Top esports keep their dream alive for that top 4 if they can win this one. Let's get into game 3.
Right. A little warning here on the Raptors on both sides.
No fighting early, you know. We got the
Yeah,
Gyao. We had no skirmishing.
That was a Q out from Xun, and that hit NaiYou. He's down, you know, maybe 100 HP. That's super impactful, right? Totally. That's going to make so much difference in the clear. I mean, he's starting red buff, right? So he'll heal that off of red buff even if he didn't have jungle pet. But yeah, so top esports are going to have a really hard time in lane early. You have to do this. This is the only way they play the game. This is what the entire game is going to look like for top esports. It's just go. They have one setting and it's go. Bilibili have a ton of range. They have engage. They have side lane access with the Nocturne. Top esports are going to suffer range-wise throughout the early game because of Poke Virus and Victor range. If top esports can get through that, maybe even win out on the lanes would be crazy too. And find these like dives, find skirmishes around dragons. They want to fight often in melee range, 3v3s, 2v2s. If they can find that, get off to a good gold lead, that would be massive for this team.
Trying to see as best they can to get that line down, like you were saying, but the push is still incoming. Oh,
hello?
we're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Back.
Sorry,
was I gone for all of
technical
that?
difficulties. But hey, getting back into it, it is going to be the bot side clear for both junglers. A little bit of priority gain by Knight in the mid lane, but it's going to push right back. But we are looking at that 2v2 that now JiaQi is going to actually stop his recalling.
Let's see how this goes. I mean, we've got the double global potential is a crucial part of this. Level 6 for jungle, level 6 for support are important timers, but
369, no mana on Ben. Okay, he's gonna be fine.
Early game Aatrox is pretty brutal. The Q cooldown is so long. Level 1 is pretty bad, but this top esports bottom lane is doing a pretty good job of getting through the virus poke so far. Again, Siva does do a pretty good job of having a look at this virus answer. So it's a good look with the ignite as well from Fengyue. It's a very aggressive look. This will fall off, like the Pantheon will become a stun bot. But having push in the early game allows for NaiYou to impact mid lane, look for dives, stack dragons, give time to get out of these tough lanes, mostly the mid lane. The mid lane is the really tough part. You can already see the CS building for Knight. This is going to be the linchpin of this game, is how big is this lane lead for Knight? How well can Creme get through the lane?
And, I mean, he had a really nice little comeback game in the last game of this series, but it's still something to kind of lean on, as they're going to need to find a way to get a Creme involved on his Akali, something he has put on incredible performances on many, many times before. And Knight is going to be a very staunch defender in terms of what he's going to be able to do this time around. So something to kind of think about. But this is the most laid back, relaxed early game I feel like we've had in the entire series, kind of pertaining to how stressful this game is potentially for BLG and co. But it's going to be just a wet noodle fight in the top lane while we have about 30 seconds for that first dragon to spawn.
Yeah, we get to sit here, we get to chat. Yeah. How are you going? I'm going well. It's very hot here in Australia. I got burnt really badly today.
Is it really?
Because I didn't put sunscreen on. Yeah, it's super
like
hot.
it's summer during winter for us, right?
Yeah, we're flipped.
Nice.
And the sun is pretty harsh. Our ozone hole is not fun, but BLG looking to find a hole here.
Well, they do
Won't be able
see
to find
NaiYou right there, so they're not going to follow that one too far in. But I do love seeing both supports getting out of the map early.
Just drops a ward in mid lane. Guess it's to watch some of the roams coming through mid. Does make sense, I guess. You know, you don't want NaiYou to sneak in somewhere, go for some camps. But Dragon spawned. Everyone is clicking towards the bot lane. Junglers. Knight's basing though. No, he's not. He's gonna stay. Maybe even ult the wave. He could do to get a base off, or he's just gonna push it. He's low mana, so it is a bit tough for him to push fast, rotate to the dragon. This means the top esports have access to the Drake once again in this series.
They do, and they're going to get an all-in onto On for now as NaiYou was coming around the corner. They're going to try to bait, potentially. It's going to be a back startup by NaiYou, but they could go for the dragon. It is on a ward, though, so they would know, at least BLG would. There is not grubs for another 2 minutes, so Arcane Storm is actually going to be used in mid lane.
Yeah, Knight needs this base. He needs a quick base. I'm guessing that he's going Roa build, but starting with Blasting Wand. It is Roa. Okay, starting with Blasting Wand is less defensive. Normally, like the Roa early is great for the Ruby Crystal start, and you just don't die to the all in. But having the Blasting Wand actually gives you a decent amount of damage early game. I imagine it's gonna be like the Lucidity boots, so not as tanky as some of the Roa champions can be, like Rise with Roa, and the tank boots is incredibly difficult to kill, but it's going to take a while for this Victor to fully come online with the stacks, with the Roa as well, and that build needs more items to actually do damage. Grubs are only a minute away. Level 6 is still a bit away for our support, so Fengyue won't be able to rotate long distance to this Grubs, but Shun has ult, nearly level 7 in fact, so see where Shun needs to go, or sorry, wants to go first. I think it's a tough call, like Creme's not going to die, 369's never dying to the gank. JiaQi has Cleanse, plus the spell shield. He's really tough to take down at this part of the game.
Yeah, I think BLG is really going to have to prove to me why the hell they picked this Nocturne pick. But we'll see if they can do it. See if Shun can do it, at least. But in the late game, those side lane picks could be big as well, as Creme's going to go in on the Knight, try to get the kill. We got the perfect execution. Just going to wait to get the kill on the Knight, even through the flash. Creme is stunning on him as he takes control of the mid lane.
He just walks forward, uses flash, and solo kills Knight. This is what I was talking about in the draft. The range advantage for Bilibili is very significant, and the lane is still tough for Creme, but the all-ins from top esports, that's what they need to look for, and when they find it, it looks like that.
It's his signature for a reason, and they didn't respect it. That's what we'll say for now. It is the flash down, so see if Shun can revisit that, but level 6s are plenty. We have Dragon hadn't been taken by top esports, and Grub's on the table now.
Take a look back here. I mean, Knight just too far forward. It's so hard to read when that's going to happen. Creme just feels it, goes for it, and plays it so well. Hits everything. Knight can't get out. But the more I'm looking and thinking about this BLG draft, I did cope about the Nocturne, because it's my job to do so. Hold on. There is a dive here. Like, there is a wave coming.
And there's no response from BLG. Nobody can come and join. Shun is mid lane and On has hit level 6. He's going to get the quickness. He's going to go for the lockdown as long as he gets a couple. He's going to get through, but the flash from JiaQi will get him the kill. And that will be now 2-0 for top esports, but Knight has come over. He's taking the long roam. Shun going to activate the paranoia and go in on his own. He's going to try to get the kill. The Arcane Storm is a ticking. They're going to try to get the extreme large setup for it, but it'll be Viper that gets the kill in the end. NaiYou going to try to sneak his way through, and it's going to be an execution.
Very nice execute from NaiYou. But I was going to say that the longer I feel like I look at this draft, the worse this Nocturne looks to me. But if Knight's going to roam again, drop CS in mid, and Shun is just going to be there at a click of a button, I can see it, right? Try to out-rotate Creme, get a numbers advantage with this Nocturne, and have a really fast-playing fight. With Nocturne, Paranoia, with Rakan's quickness, there is a genuine argument to be made that Bilibili are just too fast for top esports to react. That's kind of on JiaQi, I won't lie. Like, a lot of the late game damage is on this Sivir. If he can live through the engage, through the burst damage as well from BLG, they kind of... BLG don't really have a ton to stand on after that. But if JiaQi can get burst down, he doesn't have a ton of peel this game, right? Creme's going again, but probably won't happen. Just a decent trade, though.
Gonna keep looking for those advantages. You take early game to have very bad health trades as a colleague, then to be able to at least extend those trades into better situations later on in the game. We're starting to see that here for Creme. There still is about 2 minutes for that next dragon, and the big thing is so far so steady for top esports. A team for BLG where you don't want Shun to just become a light switcher and be a paranoia bot, much just like the stun bot for Fengyue. But it's something that I do feel like some proactivity needs to come through for BLG. And speaking of, we're going to get the all-out from Bin. He wants to go for the solo bolo on the 369, but a beautiful dash over the wall from 369 will get him away.
369 still has flash, so fairly safe in the 1v1. Bin maybe trying to force that out, but grubs are up. Not a ton of proactivity in this game so far, Mazel. It's been very slow, very methodical, and that's not too strange to see in a game like this. You do have Nocturne, which you'd love to be able to send, but you've got a row of Victor and a Sivir, one on both sides, so it does make it sense that both teams are happy to play it slow, take their time.
Grand Starfall.
This isn't taking a time.
On's going to try to stop it in its tracks with the quickness combo, but Knight might still fall. The damage comes through for Fengyue, but he will just falter in the end by himself. And that is Creme able to help secure the kill while NaiYou got the rift, or at least the grubs going through. And Shun kind of just left to clean up some of the scraps.
And that is why the Nocturne gets picked, I guess, as well. To match the Pantheon. Knight dies, but Pantheon is the one who gets the kill. Knight is able to get one with the ult. While he's dead, Shun gets him low, and the last tick of the ult take down a kill for himself. So it is still a massive lead for Creme in this lane. That doesn't feel great, but on peeling for Knight, Shun doing the same. I do think that it's hard for Bilibili to live if top esports get on them, but they're doing a decent job right now of stemming the bleeding from this early game, mostly through mid. And again, they do have a ton of range. So in these objective fights, the dragon is spawned. If BLG can maintain the range, deny flank angles that Creme and 369 will look for, the fight will be a lot harder for top esports to play out.
Couple of things though ahead of this dragon setup if we're going to get there, or the Rift Herald in about a minute and a half. We have quests coming up aplenty. Knight is still behind on his, but we also have first items coming up. Trinity Force and the like completed for top esports, just missing a couple of them there, while we're still lagging behind on Viper's first item, although the Hex Plate and that Rod of Ages completed for Shun and Knight respectively.
Viper has TP soon, so maybe if this goes on long enough, he can get that first item. And base, he's running low on mana too, even with the tier. Doesn't have a ton to fight with. So top esports looking at a 2-dragon lead here in this third game. With Shun pathing top lane through the lane, maybe going for a gank up top. Like, that could be a good answer, but 369 with ult and flash, is this ever working?
I don't think so, but they're going to try to make it work anyways. The all-out is a lot of damage, and they do just tank his health bar. Bin's going to flash just to make sure he can get out from turret, and that's going to be a big pick on a BLG as they take the lead.
The fear from Shun's tether onto 369 is big work, and they'll actually chew through the full tower. There's only 2 of them, so they don't get the extra protections, the extra resistances with this. There are members rotating for this. They won't actually be able to get this first tower. The threat of the Pantheon ult and the roam from Creme is just too scary.
No,
Maybe they get it? Do they get the gold for this?
No!
Can we see the health observers, please? But top esports high roll the soul as well. Cloud Drake, Mountain Drake, and an Infernal Soul for game 3 with a Siva Akali. That's so much damage.
That's going to feel really good if they can keep securing those. Remember that one of the banes of BLG was that steal that was not possible in game 2. And see if they can buy some time. 5 minutes is a long time with this kind of comp for BLG as well, with a scaling that will be there for Knight and Bin as Rift Herald started up by top.
Viper's poking and prodding. Shun does have ult to go in and try to steal, and top esports will give that up. Knight, be careful here in this trade. Looks like Knight does have TP, so he might have to just TP bot, and it would be a 4-for-4. He will do that, so it's a 4-for-4 around the Herald. With this spotted out by top esports, they will start up the Herald instantly on that TP call. Shun is in bot side, and BLG cannot make it to this Herald anymore.
All right, because we've seen some very respectful trades where BLG is kind of letting go of a lot of these objectives, we got to have the scaling conversation right now, Jbetto, because who do you like better in the scaling conversation? Who do you like better once we hit that 30-minute mark, 35-minute mark?
It might, I don't know. There's 2 factors pulling me to each side. The first one's the Rakan. I think Rakan outscales Pantheon infinitely. The team fight is so much better. But the Wukong is kind of better than Nocturne in my opinion. In a, like, pokey comp, if TES was going that, the Nocturne is so much more valuable. But with the dive comp, they don't care about Nocturne. With these melee champions, they're in. They can see everybody, right? Maybe JiaQi has to worry about it, but I think the conversation comes down to if On has godlike engages on this Rakan, better vision setup because Rakan will bring that, then BLG have the better scaling. But if this Wukong can do more, which is likely.
Ooh. That's going to get a little bit of an all-in. Fengyue sticking around, do some damage as well. That's a little bit
this
tough.
Pantheon does nothing already. That's a bit unfortunate. He's already doesn't have his first item. He has the damaging support starter. That was full combo on tonight. He lost like a little bit of health. So I think that if NaiYou can have a great game with Creme and really drive it forward, the late game of the Wukong Siva is excellent. But On has a lot on his shoulders here.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, he's going to have to save Knight here as he misses a grand entrance. There's going to be a setup now on the Fengyue as the fear comes through. The quickness been popped. He has convergence, and so much damage goes down.
I love a good caster blessing. I do. I really do. I really do. On showing off how good the Rakan can be.
Things are really upside down there, huh?
Blessings and curses. You know, there is caster curses, but I like a good caster blessing too.
True, true. I appreciate that. I don't think I've ever given a caster blessing. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. As we do see,
when you say something and you speak it into existence, it feels good sometimes. I'll take full credit for that. On can thank me.
Yeah, just send him a personal letter. He'll be fine. As we get refocused back into this mid lane setup around top esports, there's about 50 seconds for that dragon, and again, that's soul point on an Infernal Soul,
which is scary. And no flash for Fengyue, but On, with no ult at this point, does have the Ziggs Convergence, that new item, or reworked item, I guess, that gives ultimate ability haste. You can see how much On does in this. The fear here. Shun goes on the Fengyue, forces the flash, but then On goes, he just presses R and right-clicks at them, and that's enough. That's all he has to do here. Walks top esports down, but like you said, crucial part here. Flash is available for every single member outside of Pantheon. TP's up for the top laners, ready to join this Infernal Soul point fight. It's a massive pivot point in this game. Vision set up strong for top esports as they start sweeping out.
Yeah.
How to BLG get it? It's got to be on the back of On Hill. His ult is available.
He's like half health now, though, and you got to be careful. Little thing, Viper for the second game in a row has gone for the plated steel caps. Now that means he's down about a full item from JiaQi. JiaQi is on 2.5 with a noon quiver ready to go, but the poke might not make it matter. Is this where top esports cede a little bit of game control to BLG?
Creme looks hungry. He's moving in.
Fengyue going for the first engagement on. They're trying to stop them outright. TP coming in. That's going to be the paranoia. Instant combo straight onto him, but they don't get him in the end. NaiYou is still alive, being chased down by Shun. Meanwhile, Shun has left the rest of his team to fight the wolves here of top esports as Creme goes for a perfect execution, goes for his second kill. It's going to be Ben going all out onto JiaQi. Can't get the kill there. Going to run away. Dragon looks like it's in control of top esports.
No smite for BLG. They have to find kills or they lose soul
They're
point.
going to go for Viper. Viper overextended. He has the Hail of Arrows kill. He's going to go for one more piercing arrow, but doesn't get the damage down. Creme going to hunt down Knight. TP now coming in. That's going to be
On's
On
coming
rejoining
back.
the fight. BLG will not say quit. They will not say die. On comes in at full health, gets the knockup, but Fengyue has killed Knight. JiaQi so low, finally dies to Knight. Ben going for his own kill now, gets a second, but Creme cleans him up.
The LPL, baby. Welcome to 2026. Everybody's dead except for Creme. The junglers have respawned. Does Shun feel confident enough to walk in and try to deny the soul stack, or the soul point stack, I should say? So we take a look back. I don't know if I want to see what happens with the soul point, but On starts this off with a massive engage, but there's not enough damage on the Creme. He goes into the invisibility. Take me back to live right now.
Round 2.
Do they give soul point? They're losing Infernal Soul point. I mean, On TP's back in after this, but they BLG just, once On's dead and they don't have a jungler, they're not able to close the gap anymore. Creme remains unchecked for majority of this fight, takes down Viper, continues going forwards on tonight. There is actually I'll call it a solo kill. Wondering the stats what it comes under, but On kills JiaQi here. Fengyue actually does a really nice peel on tonight, but look at this. On 1v1, or 1v2 actually kills Fengyue, but everybody dies. But because Creme is still alive, top esports still have access to the Drake. Creme did 7,000 damage in that fight, and it's soul point for top esports.
BLG are going to realize the mistake in draft, not banning it away. They knew. They banned it away earlier in the series, but they left it open. The fools! At this point, Creme is thinking 6-0 up in the game that BLG really want to win because, hey, perfect timing as BLG need this win to make it into top 4. They just need 5 solid series wins. They have a lot of opportunities to do so, but would have been nice to get it done against top.
Creme very far forward, but very safe on the Sakai, the side lane threat. We're getting to that stage, Mazel, where top esports, they are really strong. Creme's up a ton of gold. He's fighting immaculately. On tries to find something onto Creme, but won't feel confident enough to keep going. Not enough vision around, but Creme, massive gold lead for him in this mid lane. The side lane pressure is strong. You have late game Sivir scaling coming in with 3 items. That's really, really scary. The Wukong working on this GA now. I really think Knight down 2,000 gold. On has to have
Paranoia got popped. They're
ridiculous
taking the fight. BLG, they found the pick on the NaiYou. Now the Arcane Storm is starting to grow. The Chains of Corruption going to go just wide onto JiaQi. Arcane Storm not enough, but Ben maybe enough to swing down the hammer. That's going to be a lot of damage from Knight, although Ben is getting cooked now too. BLG find the pick they needed, and now the outer turret is falling.
Some much needed gold, but Creme is still getting more on the bot side. So the gold lead in general in the game is only 800, but when we go back to this, you can see that it's still a 2.6k lead for Creme. He can one-shot anybody.
Oh, is Creme just going to chase down On? Okay. Not wanting to
He's also
overcommit there.
2 items for 369. I assume that when we go back to this replay, which I'd like to see because we didn't see the start of it, it's going to be on finding NaiYou in the jungle. It's on and Shun playing together. This is the only way BLG win, in my opinion, is that they find crucial targets. Ideally, Creme. If they can get a kill on the Creme, who, unless the HUD is broken, doesn't have a shutdown, up 2,500 gold, 602, up a level as well, which is insane. But maybe I'm not... Maybe there's something I don't know here, and he does have a big shutdown. But it would make sense. I guess the gold lead isn't big for top esports, so maybe there's that. But Creme has 2 items, 10 stacks of Dark Seal, working on his third, which I assume is going to be a Zhonya's or a Rabadon's, but it's probably Zhonya's, which is very scary. It makes Creme even harder to take down. He has so much damage at level 16. BLG, you have a minute until Infernal Soul is on the board for top esports. You have 3 items on Viper, working on a third for Knight. Flashes available, every summoner spell available for BLG. They have to find a great engage. It was Rabadon's. That is so much damage on Creme.
Also hit level 16 there as well. So BLG's options here are to try to find a pick before this even starts, or have a massive engage from on. Other than that, top esports have the advantage so far in the execution of the fights. BLG need to do something about Creme. Creme is the biggest man on campus right now for top esports, and if he finds the back line, that's all she wrote.
The cream of the crop, you could say. BLG fishing.
Get the Cubby graphic.
Setting up some... Pull up the Cubby one right now. But on's caught. Pretty slippery. We'll be able to get away. Takes a massive chunk, though. It's 15 seconds until the Drake Mazel. This is Soul, and Creme's been spotted out, sure. But looks like we're going to have to take a base on. That is risky timing. No, he's going to have to stay at this low HP.
They started up the dragon already. Creme was looking for an angle here. They do have a little bit of vision on that side, but BLG entering the pit. Shun missed the smite before in the smite fight against NaiYou. He's got to show his veterancy now. Can the top esports upstarts make this happen? Grand Starfall coming in. They just want the fight. They're going straight for the back. They're going straight for the back line. Here comes Creme. Creme is the focus. Creme can shut everybody down. He's going to get the Chains of Corruption used on him. Perfect execution hits. The Shuriken flip. It's there, but he can't do it. The follow-up doesn't matter. It's the rest of the team from top esports that have taken down BLG one by one. Knight gets the kill on the back end, and that's going to be a trade.
And the TP comes in from Creme. They've got the Infernal Soul. They haven't won the fight yet, but these health bars are so low. Creme can insta-kill anyone. The tower falls. Knight and Viper will have to walk away. The poke is nice, but Creme is nicer.
Creme is lighting it up. We said we needed big performances from the pillars of top esports, and we haven't had those. We've had sporadic moments, but this would be back-to-back games that Creme is having upstart performances, and especially on his signature pick. See if he can continue that here as BLG show their fangs a little bit, but still lose out, and now it's about a 5-minute timer on the Elder Dragon.
And how did BLG even walk in to contest this Baron? I mean, they have Cassante face check, sure. They have Paranoia to make it a bit harder for top esports to do the Baron and engage on them, sure, but I really feel like you're right. This Nocturne hasn't done enough. Here we're going again.
They're going to find the pick. They're going to try to get the pick, but the nice flash out from Fengyue. They're going to keep TPing with Ben, so now they are surrounded. Creme has an angle here. They could just go for the throat right now. Ben is a little bit in trouble. He's in the midst of 4 people. He's going to try to find his way out, but the engage comes in from Creme on the back line with the Cyclone coming out from NaiYou. They don't have enough damage right now. Creme finally makes his mark known. He's got the Shuriken flip going over. He's going to take it after he kills Shun. Finds another one. That's Creme to you, baby. And it's the cream of the crop, just like you said. It's top esports. 4.5 thousand gold up over BLG.
BLG lose 4. They cannot get it done in this series, Mazel. It looks like top esports will get at least this this inner turret, this tier 2 turret in mid, and then go back to the Baron. But BLG, it feels like they think their time is running out. That is a very aggressive send on a ward, on a Pantheon. It's just a support, and he has flash, and then they still feel the need to oversend it even more. And Top Esports holds strong. Creme over the wall. Now it's JiaQi up 2,500 gold. This is so aggressive. It really feels like BLG is saying we have to go. TP in. We have to send it. Creme is on a ward. Flips over the wall. BLG are running out of time, it feels. Creme is very confident.
And there's really just nothing BLG can do. You see Viper just gets picked apart in that fight. And it's all about the entrances at this point.
Back at live.
Esports. As we take a look, actually, they get a pick. Viper gets a big kill. That's going to be a pick on a Fengyue. Double knockback on from BLG. But now here comes Creme. Here comes the damage dealers. And BLG are losing their front line. I will continue to question what this comp does together because it is so desynced. And that will be a defensive paranoia. So I think officially he's the light switcher.
369 gets a bunch of resets. The base will be broken open slowly. As Akali will push into the mid lane. And the remaining of TES will push in through this bot lane to try to break open the base. And Creme has had such a great series in general. I feel like he would be, if Top Esports are able to close this game out, player of the series for me. Top Esports have, game one was such a rough showing. I genuinely thought this was going to be a quick 2-0, but Top Esports have turned it around so much so, and are now looking at their first win over BLG this year so far.
All the questions that remained from these newer players starting to be answered. Is it worth with this development? And if you can take down BLG, I'd say things are going pretty well for you. And again, for Top Esports, this is all about continuing the drive to try to make it to top 4 in Group Ascent.
Yeah. And they do still only need one win against IG, but IG has had a similar start to Top Esports. If BLG continue to show issues like this, to have series like this, I mean, it's a far world away, but there is still a potential that BLG cannot make it to playoffs and they have to go through play-ins. Even then, you're probably getting to playoffs after that. But first stand contention, there are issues in this team that need to be dealt with. BLG down 10,000 gold. Infernal Soul, they're going.
They're going to try to get the engage here, but Shun is already getting chunked. He has GA, though, but On is dead, and that's another big piece to the puzzle. Now Shun is left out on an island while BLG is surrounded. The sharks are in the water, and there's chum all over the place. Creme is making them look like fools. As Top Esports spread the banner, spread the win, and will take down BLG.
BLG in the clutch, cannot get it done. Top Esports will win their first series over BLG 10-0-8. That is your player of the series. Give this man a win.
That cream of the crop graphic just went all the way to 10. What a performance from a guy that has had so many question marks thrown his way. Why is he still on this Top Esports team? Why does this team continue to try and build around this guy? And we're finally starting to see some of those performances that made him such a show out on OMG, and it's on his Akali against Knight.
And Top Esports have to be very happy about that. When we've got the updated scores, BLG, the 2026 BLG with how they started, 4-0, now 4-3. This is not how I had expected to see this team. And after drama happening internally, that after game one, we thought it's nothing. It doesn't matter. It matters. Because this is a game that BLG, on paper, should not have lost in the fashion they did. Top Esports came alive in this series on the back of Creme.
Those VOD reviews are going to be hard, I'm not going to lie. They need vibes now more than ever on that BLG team, because that's a tough loss when you're one step away. They still have 3 opportunities, but seeing as the damage is done, that's now some big losses in a row for BLG, as that'll be 3 losses for a team that looked like they were the best in Group Ascend for a lot of the early parts of the split. But what a day, what a game for TES as they continue their striving dream of getting to that top 4.
This makes playoffs even more interesting as well. I mean, Group Ascend remains so close in at least score, and that does matter a lot, right? So the fact that BLG seemed in the first couple of matches that they were the team that was above. Everyone else was kind of scrapping, and BLG was up there, the 1-team region. And now it's a 0-team region or a 6-team region. I don't know, but
it's an all-team region. 14, baby.
We're all showing up for Group Ascend. I think it is insane to have a comment. Like, it's not in the realm of possibility right now that either of these teams don't make it to Group Ascend, in my opinion. But playoffs is going to be very interesting. Who is going to first stand? It could kind of be anyone at this stage, which is at the same time very entertaining as a viewer and very stressful as an analyst for the LPL, someone who wants to see this region do well. But I think BLG found a formula in their game 1. I talked about it. A top side that goes fine, team fights, Knight with Prio, resources in bot, and a carry in Viper. It's something comfortable that can pop off, and we never really saw that again. It was the Jin. Can't believe I forgot that champion name for a second.
Yeah.
The Jin.
That was tough.
Hasn't looked great internationally. Hasn't looked good in the LPL. And now this game, when BLG lose Infernal Soul, like no dragon stacking at all. Top Esports, after game 1, they must have gone back, had a great draft prep for the next 2 games, and they pulled out bot Prio, winning mid or dominant mid, and a great jungle matchup.
I gotta say, again, I go back to it, but like this comp from BLG had no connecting pieces. It felt like a lot of it, like the ideas were a little bit different. And I'll just say, you know, JiaQi had 36%, whatever, 33% damage. Viper, I love the Varus. I want to see this guy on a mechanical AD carry, not a poke champion, and I think that made the difference in a lot of these later fights. Obviously keyed off by the fact that you had so much pressure coming from the rest of the members like NaiYou and Creme, but it still made the difference to me.
Yeah, no Aphelios Pro in this series at all. Maybe even a on-hit virus game with the Jack Show, a bit of tankiness coming in here, might have allowed Viper to just stand there and hit. I get that you want to play the lane a little bit more aggressively, and if Viper had been able to build up a massive lead in bot, but that's what the Civ is there for. The wave clear, the all-in at level 1 was nice, but Top Esports, I was genuinely coming in. If we were doing predictions, I would have said this was a 2-0 for Bilibili easily. Top Esports have not looked on the same page. They've not looked like the team we saw tonight, and the fact that they have been able to turn it around on the back of Creme in 2 games in a row is a massive statement from this player. Again, you were saying there have been doubts about Creme. Why is he still here, potentially? What can he do over some of the other younger mid laners? Better, potentially. And he's still around. I will say, this is split 1. There are a lot... Oh, not happy. That's not happy coaching staff. There are a lot of games this year, Mazel. We have a lot of time to make work be done, but work needs to be done.
It does indeed. And last point I'll make on it, if you thought the situation was hard with the drama that had developed, imagine losing after that. Like the win maybe makes it all go away, but now you lost, and so now they got to deal with the repercussions. And again, they still have a lot of time, a lot of series, a lot of chances, but this is a wonderful moment for Top Esports, who finally find that big win over a big name opponent, and it's off the back of some classic picks. Creme's Akali. I know I talked in the draft about 369's Aatrox, but it was multiple attempts from BLG to tee off fights like this that ended up going awry.
And having some of these names clash is like, there are some titans in these teams, but having some of the younger players on Top Esports take down some of the veteranship here, like, that's Viper. JiaQi did better in this series, in my opinion. Okay, it was more of a team effort in general, but The Jin didn't really do a ton. The Virus didn't do a ton. That's getting banned away every game. And letting a pick through like that and then watching it perform in this way is a bit disheartening. Again, scrims, different games. Virus is still great. But to say we're picking Virus this early in the draft and prioritizing it, it doesn't bode well to me.
Yeah. Well, I do believe we might have the updated standings here, if you don't mind, Mr. Alk Battery, our wonderful producer. As you see, there's no green on BLG's name, and there is no lock-in for that group ascent.
That's tough. Top Esports, 2 more wins would lock in playoffs for them, which would mean that one of the other teams that is there is not locked for playoffs, which is very interesting. But yeah, there's not a ton of matches in the first split, like globally, but it's still, every group is incredibly close. Outside of maybe Group Perseverance with Thundertalk going 0-5, every group
LNG
is very close. In group, true, 4-0. That is definitely there. But Group Ascent being the closest group is kind of crazy. 4-2, a bunch of 4-3 teams, 3-5 and 2-5. That's a very contentious Group Ascend, or
just
like
imagine
upper
if
bracket.
AL also goes 4-3. How funny it would be. We just get this chaos in the top 4. It'd be incredible.
Who do they play against? Who does AL play against next?
So at least it's going to be a fun setup for the end of Group Ascend as well. That being said, we got to give a big shout out before we get going, though. So big thank you very much to our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron, Soup, and Mung, for their pledged financial contributions, the help to level up this broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who dedicate a lot of their hours to this volunteer project. So thank you all so much. Jbetto, I want to give you a last chance. Any thoughts, feelings going forward? What the hell is going on with BLG? Does Wenbo start? What happens with Top Esports? Do they make the run? What are you feeling?
I think we should be glued to social media for the next few days to see what happens. I think this probably won't result in a happy ending, at least, or some happiness over the next few days, unless you're Top Esports. I mean, I think we've got JDG AL tomorrow, so a massive series for both. One of those teams will be locking playoffs, and it's BLG IG tomorrow as well. So BLG has another redemption chance tomorrow. If they lose that series too, there are some real conversations that need to be had, but we're a long way away from that. I'm going to put this down to, there are mistakes being had, but drama. BLG are still a great team. Game 1 shows that. They just need to go back into the lab, take some deep breaths, come back out with their solid game plan, some more cohesive drafts, play more like Game 1. Game 1 was great.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, Jbetto, and we got to go to all the way to 3 games. So I'm happy here with that. Give shout out to Alk for being the production behind the scenes today, and everybody else that was part of the crew, from socials to mods. And that means that we are done for the day, but we are not done for the split. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 2 more series, and we'll see you there on Summoners Radio.